Welcome to KCGM, owner of the iconic Kalgoorlie Super Pit in the heart of Western Australia's world-famous Eastern Goldfields. KCGM stands for Kalgoorlie Consolidated Gold Mines. As the name suggests, it was formed in the late 1980s by bringing together the many gold mines which had been developed on Kalgoorlie's lucrative Golden Mile in the century following the discovery of gold there by Paddy Hannan in 1893. For the first time in its long history, the Super Pit is now fully owned by West Australian companies. This was the result of Saracen Mineral Holdings buying a half share of the project in late 2019. Soon after, another WA gold miner, Northern Star Resources, acquired the other half. These two Perth-based companies quickly set about conducting a full review of the project, using their extensive knowledge and experience as leading WA gold miners to assess, examine, and question every aspect of the operation.
First and foremost, it's gold endowment. This is one of the richest gold endowments globally, with over 60 million ounces produced here behind me from the Golden Mile since 1893 at a head grade of a bit over 5 grams per tonne. Also the significant reserve life we see here. So we've got 15 years of life on reserve and another 10 million ounces of resource sitting above that.
You know, what a fantastic gold system. We've always said the best way to find gold is near a gold mine, and you don't get any better geological systems of world-class nature than the Kalgoorlie and KCGM Super Pit and Mount Charlotte undergrounds.
I'd also like to acknowledge our JV owners in Northern Star. It's fantastic for the first time in this asset's history to have two like-minded, growth-orientated Western Australian companies owning this historic asset.
Look, we've got a simple model in sort of Northern Star side that Saracen have got the same philosophy as if you don't drill, you don't find. If you don't find, you don't mine. And the beauty about grabbing hold of this asset now, we're doing all of that. We're drilling, we're finding, we're analysing. The more we dig, the more we find. The more we optimise, the more we review, the more, I guess, this operation looks positive. So very good resource and reserve update. That really has set an unbelievable foundation for this operation, its employees, the stakeholders, and very importantly, to the City of Kalgoorlie and Boulder.
With the change of ownership, we initiated a new strategic review of the whole operation. Part of that process was bringing a significant amount of drill hole data that was not previously in our geological model. The outcome was significant. We increased our reserve and our resources. It's the first time we published a JORC-compliant reserve of 9.7 million ounces. Resources up to 19 million ounces. Now, if we look at that in terms of 15-year mine life for us here at KCGM, through our owners, our JV partners, Saracen and Northern Star, which is really focus-driven on getting the results and the outcomes in terms of productivity and engagement with our community. With a change in ownership as well, we introduced a whole new site leadership team on site, secondis from Northern Star and Saracen, giving us a wealth of knowledge and experience that we could cash in immediately. We already created a lot of change on site, looking at from a mid-tier lens, improving our productivities and focus for the future.
KCGM's robust inventory also underpins significant increases in forecast production, which is now set to rise to between 440,000 and 480,000 ounces this financial year, to over 500,000 ounces a year by FY24, and over 675,000 ounces by FY28.
Right now, I'm standing in front of Brown Hill Cutback. We started mining this cutback in April 2020. Originally, it was planned to get mined in 22, but we have revised our strategy to get access to east wall remediation using Brown Hill Cutback as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have two access from both sides to enable us to mine Brown Hill and east wall remediation a bit faster. What it's gonna do is it's gonna also reduce our cost and make it more safer and cheaper to mine.
in the past 12 months, and there's been a tremendous amount of work being done from the collective engineering and geology teams to reinvest in the mine and re-energise the focus on the potential of the operation. And the reinvestment of the operation has led to a lot more interest in the growth potential of the mine outside of the Charlotte ore body, and that in turn results in increasing the longevity of the mine and future-proofing this operation and the ounce production from it. And the result has been fantastic, with over doubling the previous 12 months reserve to now a new 510,000 ounces.
The big girl you see behind me at the moment is doing around about 1,400 tonne an hour. We're pushing through around about 12.4 million tonne per annum. Really pushing hard on recovery, reagents, throughput and availability. If we improve our recovery by 1%, that adds further viable mine sources to be available to be mined. An opportunity for growth and development, not only for the operation, but the people in it are just enormous. We really are. It's like, how big is this going to get? Well, I think we're on the precipice of that.
After working for KCGM for many years, it never ceases to amaze me the amount of spectacular exploration results that we are receiving on a daily and weekly basis. If you look at the Fimiston and Mount Charlotte ore bodies, historically we've mined 60 million ounces in the area, and with the addition of 19 million ounces in resources means that we're sitting on a 79 million ounce deposit, which is pretty world class by any means. And then on to Mount Charlotte itself, where we know that the ore body is open at depth and long strike. The drilling has not closed off the ore body at depth yet, and we're continuing to follow up new targets that we're generating even within the Charlotte ore body itself. Then with Fimiston itself, it's still not closed at depth. We've been drilling underneath over the years, testing the targets at depth, and we're still finding more gold beneath the historical workings. So the historical workings themselves, when you look over the pit, are actually the same depth again as from when you're at the lookout. So it just gives the scale and size of this pretty amazing ore body.
KCGM has a strong relationship with the City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder, one that has strengthened and evolved over many years. The proximity of our mine in relation to the town, coupled with 30 years of operation in the goldfields, all of our people living locally, and many of our suppliers and contractors, means that whilst we are inherently linked, it's not something that we can take for granted. We engage broadly with the community. We've invested over many years in significant social infrastructure. We've established long-term community partnerships, and just last year alone we invested in over 35 individual community organisational initiatives that add to the vibrancy of this town.
What's good for KCGM and the super pit is good for our city, and what's good for Kalgoorlie-Boulder is good for the super pit. So it's in our mutual interest to get along. And as I say, having Australian ownership back in Australian hands, I believe is good for our community and good for the mine. I think Australians have this can-do attitude, and we've seen that with Ralph Finlayson and Bill Beament, that they can get things done. They don't talk about it so much, they just go and do it and let their actions speak rather than their words.
So if Australia is a land of opportunity, the Golden Mile must be the epitome of that opportunity. And I use the Golden Mile term loosely. We are seeing opportunities across a 5-mile strike here at KCGM. So we've got the Mount Charlotte district to the north, the Central Easters, which we haven't talked about a lot yet, but there's a huge amount of growth there. Of course, the Fimiston deposit itself, and also, of course, the significant growth that we see from the underground in the years and decades to come.